Thank you, Jane, for the beautiful song. It's one of my favorites. So just imagine if we were all one, that would be wonderful. Okay, I gotta put my eyeballs on something. So I just want to say good morning to everyone and happy Father's Day to our fathers, grandfathers, mentors, teachers, spiritual leaders. Today we honor you for all that you've done. So the message today, we're talking about the power of imagination. So I had to look up what Charles Fillmore said about imagination, and that we all have these spiritual faculties, and imagination is one of them, that we have creative ideas. And I don't know that everybody operates off of the creative ideas that they have. So I thought, well, I'll do a message just as some reminders of how to tap into our gifts and our uniqueness. I wonder, when many people think about imagination, they think about fantasy, make-believe. Yet Fillmore taught that imagination is a spiritual faculty. It is our God-given ability to envision possibilities beyond present appearances. So everything begins in consciousness before it appears in form. Every invention, every work of art, every healing, every transformation first existed as an idea, an image, and a possibility. The question is not whether we're using our imagination. The question is, what are we imagining? So remember the Temptation song? It's just my imagination running away with me. Yes, it's just my imagination running away with me. So how many of you have had an imagination that runs away? That runs away with you. We have plenty of times that we've had our imagination run away with us. Recently, I attended a spiritual retreat here in St. Pete. And the facilitator, Jennifer Farmer, I don't know if you've heard of her. I went to her session on intuitive development, and she asked us how many people stay in the present moment when they're thinking. So we had people say 2% of the time, 4% of the time, 20% of the time. It was only one person who said about 45% of the time. But everybody else was, oh no, because they're thinking about the past or the future. So I ask you, what is your percentage of the time? I titled this talk, The Art of Living Your Best Life. And for the acronym of ART, I looked at many different, words that go along with that acronym, like acceptance, awareness. But we're going to look at today, awakening the vision that you have. So What do I mean by that? Everything begins with a vision. Scripture reminds us that where there is no vision, the people perish. Life has a way of narrowing our vision. Disappointments happen. Dreams get delayed. Plans don't unfold like we expected. Sometimes we become so focused on what is that we forget to imagine what could be. Yet spiritual imagination allows us to see beyond current circumstances. It allows us to see with the eyes of spirit. For an example, Abraham imagined descendants before there was evidence. Moses envisioned freedom while his people were still in bondage. Jesus saw wholeness where others saw illness and limitation. They all expressed spiritual imagination, not wishful thinking, spiritual seeing. The ability to perceive divine possibility before it became visible. Perhaps there's areas in your life calling for a new vision today. And so I sat down when I wrote that, and I started looking at areas in my life that's causing me or calling me to a new vision, like relationships. What's my vision on relationships? What's your vision on relationships? Ministry, a dream, healing, new expressions of purpose. So the power of imagination asks you to awaken your vision and see what it is that God has for you to do. I remember Oprah is always talking, giving us some gems, and she was saying that she totally trusted in God and everything that she does. And then she asked him per day, what is it that you would have me do? I wonder if sometimes we're afraid to ask that question. Like, use me, God, today. What is it you have me do today? Oops, might not be something that I want to do. I want to stay in my bed and not get out. So, God, what is it you would have me do today? Use me. For real, I would sit down and say, I don't know if I want to go that far and ask that question. Okay. Just throwing in some humor. Okay, the R. I look at the R like release and let go. How many of us hang on to the past? Maybe you're a group that has released and let go, as the song went earlier. I release and let go and let the Spirit run my life. But many people I meet still talk about the past, and they're in their 40s and 50s and 60s, still talking about the past and some trauma that they experienced. I didn't even realize the thing I appreciate about nowadays is people do speak up and they do share things like trauma bonding, all of that. When I was growing up, nobody talked about it. Whatever happened at home stayed at home, and nobody told you that you were traumatized. You felt you were traumatized. But nobody used those words. You're dealing with trauma. That's why you act the way you do. That's why you're dealing with things the way that you are. But I appreciate that now now that there's names for a lot of things that we are experiencing, ADHD, PTSD, trauma, all of those kind of things. So, when it comes to talking about releasing and letting go of the past and issues and things that happen, it sounds easy when somebody says, all you got to do is release and let go. But at this age, I'm still working on releasing and letting go of some things. I'm growing, evolving, changing, and that's what all of us are doing, and it takes time. It's a process. So I would get really, really upset when people would say, all you got to do is let go, let it go, release and let go. So you go through a divorce, you've been married 20, 30 years, and they say, all you got to do is just release and let go. You know, you have different incidences that happen. But what's going on in your head is the situation. And so your imagination is still thinking about the situation, and I'm in survivor mode. So it takes a while. So I do say release and let go and let spirit run your life, realizing that it is a process. And with that being said, the second R is reimagine your life in a new way now. Because whatever happened to us in the past, we can't do nothing about. We can't change people as much as we try. We can't fix people as much as we try. We can't control people as much as we try. I didn't even know that was a common thing, that we were always trying to control somebody. Did y'all know that? That's part of our MO as human beings, that we're always trying to be in charge and control somebody. So reimagining our life in a new way. And as I think the message and what Charles Fillmore wanted us to do is, there's the ego part of us that's imagining things, that's, kind of, it's kind of off the hook, imagining stuff, like, I'm too old, I missed my chance, I don't have enough, things never work out for me. So that's the ego part of us, and that's the part of us that we're working through. But imagine seeing yourself as God sees you. God sees you as whole, capable, wise, loved, guided, abundant, not because of the circumstances that you're in, but because Spirit says so. So ask yourself, what kind of story are you holding on to? What are you telling yourself? Are you dealing with fear or faith? Limitation or possibility? Scarcity or abundance? Separation or connection? Reimagine a new story for yourself. One full of possibility and capability. And then the T. The T I first thought of was thoughts. I've already expressed that, though. Our thoughts going awry. Our thoughts all over the place. We are thinkers. I remember a children's song that says, I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. And you are the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape your life. You are the thinker who thinks the thoughts. You have the power to change your life. The other T to this art of living your best life is expressed this way. Glasses again. This may be the most important step, to trust your vision. Many people can imagine, many can begin, but few continue trusting when results are not immediate. Imagination and faith work together. Imagination provides the image. Faith provides the power to stay with it. We often want proof first. Spirit invites us to trust first. A gardener trusts the seed before seeing the harvest. An inventor trusts the idea before seeing the invention. A spiritual seeker trusts the inner vision before seeing outer evidence. Jesus consistently demonstrated this principle. He saw abundance before the loaves multiplied. He saw healing before it appeared. He saw possibility where others saw obstacles. Trusting the vision does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to let appearances have the final word. There may be something in your life right now that requires trust. Trust the healing. Trust the relationship. Trust the calling. Trust the next chapter. Trust the dream that has not yet fully revealed itself. Trust what Spirit has planted within you. So, as we celebrate this Father's Day, we remember that the Divine Father presence continually calls us forward into greater expression. When today brings celebration, whether today brings celebration, reflection, gratitude, or mixed emotions, we can all draw upon that creative, divine presence within. The Divine Father principle forever sees more in us than we sometimes see in ourselves. It sees possibility where we see obstacles. It sees potential where we see limitation. It sees wholeness where we see brokenness. And through the spiritual power of imagination, we begin to see as Spirit sees. So in closing, the art of living your best life is simple. A, awaken the vision. See beyond appearances. R, release and let go. Reimagine a new story. Close and align with the truth. And T, trust the vision. Monitor our thoughts. remain faithful to what Spirit has revealed. Imagination is not escaping reality. It is seeing reality through the eyes of Spirit before the outer world catches up. As we use the sacred faculty wisely, we become conscious co-creators with divine mind. May we imagine boldly. May we trust deeply. May we live fully. And so it is. Amen.